Ontario just slapped a 25% surcharge on electricity exports to the US, a devastating $110 billion annual blow to Americans. Simultaneously, Canadian tourism to the US has plummeted 25%, leaving thousands jobless in once bustling border towns like Niagara Falls, where empty streets tell the story of economic devastation. These aren't random events, but calculated steps in Canada's $760 billion economic retaliation plan, systematically dismantling America's advantages. Imagine our economy as a fortress being silently undermined, brick by brick. The mainstream media won't connect these dots for you, but this silent economic war might ultimately prove more dangerous than any military conflict. The $760 billion economic bomb that's already detonating. What if I told you Canada's $760 billion retaliation plan isn't just political theater?
America is not Canada. And Canada never, ever will be part of America in any way, shape, or form. Look, we didn't ask for this fight. We didn't ask for this fight. But Canadians are always ready when someone else drops the gloves. So the Americans, they should make no mistake, in trade as in hockey, Canada will win.
It's already devastating American businesses, and most Americans have no idea it's happening. While Washington politicians argue over tariffs and trade policies, everyday Canadians have launched an economic assault that's costing American companies billions. The evidence is staggering. US product sales in Canada have plummeted by nearly 20% in a single month. American brands are watching helplessly as their Canadian market share evaporates overnight. This isn't some minor blip, it's economic warfare happening in real time. The boycott has transformed from a simple hashtag into a sophisticated economic weapon. The Buy Beaver app has exploded to over 35,000 downloads in just 2 weeks.
The Buy Canadian approach can at times be a challenge to figure out what's actually made in this country. That's where a couple of clever Canadians come in. CTV's Miriam Valdez-Carletti shows you their solution.
With many Canadians looking to shop local amid possible tariffs from the U.S., William Boytink ran into an issue.
I was trying to figure out if what we were eating was Canadian, and I had to jump through like 4 hoops to try and figure it out. And then I came up with the idea on the spot, being like, what information does a barcode give me?
He and Matthew Suddaby decided to create the Shop Canadian app. With a quick scan on your phone, it will tell you if a product is Canadian made or not, using a product standardization database.
We have close to 10,000 companies already registered, and I think at this point close to 15,000 products, unique products scanned.
The app utilizes a rating system for customers to use by collecting crowdsourced information.
Right, we can go in, rate it 1 maple leaf because it's made in the USA. We'll save.
Spreading like wildfire through Canadian smartphones. Canadians are literally scanning products in stores to ensure not a single dollar goes to American companies. This isn't random consumer behavior, it's organized and deliberate. The impact hits hardest where it hurts most. The LCBO, the world's largest purchaser of alcohol, has completely stopped importing American spirits. Over $1 billion in revenue vanished for US distilleries in a single day. American whiskey producers are in panic mode as their products disappear from Canadian shelves. If you're enjoying this video, we'd really appreciate it if you could like and subscribe to the channel. Did you know over 98% of viewers watch without subscribing? Subscribing is free, and it helps us create more content you love. So, go ahead and hit that button. It only takes a second. Thanks so much. And now, back to the video. Major US corporations like Coca-Cola, Apple, and McDonald's are already reporting alarming revenue declines. Corporate boardrooms across America are holding emergency meetings with no strategy to combat this grassroots revolution. What terrifies Washington most? This isn't temporary. Canadian businesses are restructuring their entire supply chains to eliminate US dependencies. Once these new relationships solidify, American companies will be permanently locked out. The movement is spreading globally. European countries are reassessing their American trade relationships while China strengthens ties with Canada, bypassing US influence altogether. The Canadian boycott has become the blueprint for a new economic order, and America is being left behind. Ontario's 25% electricity surcharge, the energy war, America never saw coming. But while the boycott rages on, Canada has quietly unleashed an even more devastating weapon in the economic war, one that makes trade tariffs look like child's play. As you're reading this, Premier Doug Ford just dropped an energy bombshell that has 3 US states in full panic mode. His shocking 25% electricity surcharge targeting 1.5 million American homes exposes a terrifying reality.
Premier Ford, you are being incredibly hospitable, and I appreciate that, but you're also being incredibly tough when it comes to your electricity and what's going to happen. You've threatened to cut off electricity entirely if the tariff stands. When do you plan to do that?
Well, hopefully we'll never have to do it, but it's a tool in our toolkit, and I won't hesitate to use it. As President Trump is attacking Canadian families and jobs and businesses, taking food off their table, which there's no reason to. I always say, Tom, especially the auto sector, it's been around since the 1960s. You can't unscramble that egg overnight. You have to make a larger omelet. And both countries need to make a larger omelet until both countries can be prosperous.
The president has been afraid to put dates on the calendar when it comes to tariffs. Are you going to put a date on the calendar when it comes to Canadian electricity?
No, we're going to negotiate through strength. We'll see what the president does. He seems to change his mind every single day. Even when I talk to Republicans, governors and senators and congresswomen and men, all of them are telling me they aren't in favor of it. Behind closed doors, they need to get out and speak out because it's going to hurt their communities. It's going to not only hurt red states, it'll hurt blue states, it'll hurt every state in the U.S.
The U.S. power grid now dangles by Canadian fingertips, and they're not afraid to squeeze. This calculated first strike in Canada's energy offensive adds a staggering $100 to monthly electricity bills for families in Minnesota, New York, and Michigan. Imagine someone controlling your home's power switch, then charging you extra just to keep your lights on. That's exactly what's happening. Blame your president, Ford declared bluntly, as American households now literally fund Canadian energy discounts. The consequences are devastating, generating up to $400,000 daily for Ontario while simultaneously destabilizing America's northeastern power grid. The affected states face potential blackouts this winter because America built its energy security on one fatal assumption: that Canada would always keep the lights on. This electricity surcharge is just the opening salvo. Canadian officials are discussing the nuclear option: export taxes on oil shipments flowing across the border, which would devastate American energy markets already reeling from global instability. Canada's strategy has been years in the making. The Trans Mountain pipeline expansion was a strategic pivot, allowing Canada to redirect oil to Asian markets at premium prices. For the first time, Canada can tell American buyers, pay up or we'll sell elsewhere. Mark Carney, Canada's new Prime Minister and former head of both the Bank of Canada and Bank of England, understands America's vulnerabilities better than most. America is not Canada, and Canada will never be part of America, he stated firmly.
Donald Trump thinks he can weaken us with his plan to divide and conquer. Pierre Poilievre's plan will leave us divided and ready to be conquered. Because a person who worships at the altar of Donald Trump will kneel before him, not stand up to him.
With Canada supplying about 60% of US oil imports plus critical natural gas and hydroelectric power, America's energy independence has been exposed as a dangerous myth. Make no mistake, what we're witnessing is a permanent economic divorce reshaping North America forever. The data doesn't lie. Canada's trade with the European Union has jumped by 7% since implementing CETA, while systematically cutting ties with its southern neighbor. This isn't random, it's strategic. Under Carney's leadership, Canada is methodically building a post-American future, one trade deal at a time. Like a sleeping giant about to wake to a nightmare, America remains oblivious while Canada redirects its $760 billion economic might elsewhere. The most terrifying part? This transformation is happening in plain sight. By the time Washington realizes what's happening, the damage will be done, leaving America scrambling to replace a trade partner it took for granted for generations. And if you want to stay updated on the latest controversies, power plays, and global shifts, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell. The world is changing fast, and we'll be here to break it all down for you. See you in the next video.